In the early 1900s, a man named William Mick lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and he joined a Masonic lodge there. One of the things that he was most impressed with when he became a Mason was the amount of service or good deeds that his lodge did. Shortly after he joined the lodge, he shipped off to France during World War I. And again, he was incredibly impressed with the Masonic work that went on during World War I. The amount of people that were helped, the amount of money that was raised to help those that had fallen in those battles. Everything that he saw made it clear to him that he wanted to remain a Mason for the rest of his life, and that he wanted to share the good works that he had seen. He came home. He was a medical doctor in Omaha. He and his wife became very active and helped to form the first Eastern Star chapter in Omaha, Nebraska. But it didn't stop there. The Micks also had 2 daughters, and they wanted more than anything to pass on to the young people that they were surrounded with in their homes the many good deeds and the good works that the Brotherhood of Masons had shown to them. And because of them, Job's Daughters International was formed. The first Bethel was opened in Omaha, Nebraska in 1920. Since that time, we have Bethels in 39 states in the United States, in all provinces of Canada, in Australia, Brazil, and the Philippines currently. We've also had Job's Daughter Bethels on many, many armed forces bases in Guam, in Japan, and Germany, and places like that. But even though Job's Daughters was flourishing, the one thing that was the dream of the Micks was that they have their own charity. It took a long time for that to happen, but 28 years ago, another revolutionary husband and wife team, known as the Terrells, came up with the idea of doing research and finding that one place where Job's Daughters could help others. After a lot of research, it was found that very often children who have hearing aids, who have needs for hearing aids and have hearing impairments, are often lost in a little bit of a shuffle. It's often called a disability that no one else sees, because very often these people don't show their disability, but it does show up in schools. It does show up in communications. And they found through the research 28 years ago that very, very often insurance companies didn't often cover hearing aids and other hearing devices the way that they would do other medical necessity items. So 28 years ago, the Height Fund began, Hearing Impaired Kids Endowment. It is the official philanthropic project of Job's Daughters International. And Jobs all over the world raise money specifically to purchase hearing aids and other kinds of hearing devices. Sometimes I say that and people go, well, what other kinds of devices do you offer? Very often schools need specialized equipment to keep these children in regular classrooms or being able to fully immerse in the curriculum that's going on. Very often an FM system is used between the teacher and that child, even if the child is wearing hearing aids. Sometimes it's things at home that help the child. I was telling the family just a little while ago that we just gave a hearing award about 3 months ago to a young man who's graduated from high school this year. He's going off to a state university, but one of the concerns that his family had was he doesn't hear an alarm clock. There is a device that actually hooks onto a bed that shakes the bed and is connected to the alarm clock. Obviously not covered by any kind of insurance or those kinds of things. So the Height Fund is providing that device to this young man who hopes to someday study medicine himself. So we do lots of different kinds of work. Here in the state of Missouri, we have 2 major Height projects each year. On the eastern side of the state, we have what's called the Lincoln-Truman Hike. Obviously, it's between us and Illinois. We hold it in the fall of the year each year, and it goes back and forth between Illinois and Missouri. This year it will be in Sunset Hills, Missouri, so we're kind of excited about that. On the other side of the state, the western side of the state participates in what we call the Mid-America Hike. That includes Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri. We just had that fundraiser on Saturday and raised over $5,000, which is 2 hearing aids, is the way we always look at it. So we're kind of excited about that. But we're also very, very thankful to the Masonic lodges that very, very often help us out. Each year it's amazing how many lodges include in their budget a small gift to the Hike Fund. And as a member of the board of directors for Hike International, I want you to know how much we appreciate any and all of that help. Because it's your support that keeps Joe's Daughters going, and it is also your support that keeps the Hike Fund going. Today I'd like to introduce our Daughter Hike Committee. The adults in the state of Missouri are divided east and west. While I serve on the international board, I am also the Eastern Missouri Hike Coordinator. My partner on the western side is named Jennifer Arruda, and she's from one of the Bethels in Kansas City. We also have a daughter committee that is primarily responsible for how we raise the funds and giving the gifts to the children that we serve. Tonight we have with us two members of the actual Hike Committee, Mackenzie Yeager and Cora Sprague. Little Cora raised over $2,000 by herself last year. And just this weekend, she turned in another $200, so she's a hard worker. We also have Miss Caitlin Washington. Caitlin is currently serving as our Miss Missouri Joke's Daughter. She's a past honor queen, and she served as our Daughter State Hike Coordinator for 3 or 4 years, a long time. And Caitlin has just completed six years of over $1,000 every year.
Wow.
Pretty proud of them, and I have to tell you, they all three come from my Bethel. Just by fluke. We also have with us several members of Bethel 43 from Fenton, Missouri, and Bethel number 4 from Creve Coeur. Come here, girls. And now, what we would really like to tell you about is a young man named Mason. We think that's a really appropriate name for this room. Mason Pruitt is here with his mom and dad. Mason is a hearing impaired child, and he had an application to get new hearing aids. I'm guessing they're probably programmable hearing aids, am I right? Programmable are the way that we're using more and more, especially with the young children of today, because they can therefore work to adjust the sounds based on whether they're inside a classroom or out on a ball field, which is where Mason's going from here, or wherever else he needs to be. Mason goes to Winfield Elementary School, and we're really proud of the fact that he's working so hard there. So Shane and Jamie, will you please bring Mason up here to us? He didn't really want to come by the girls by himself, you know. A check for $2,290 that will pay for his hearing aids.
Wow.
We have an incentive pin that all the girls are encouraged to earn every year. This year's pin is the world, and it's our world of hearing. What they can add to theirs, if you get a chance to look at Miss Caitlin's, who's got lots of dangles on her, they're shoes, because we hike for hike, but the shoes represent the countries of Joe's Daughters. And if you look at Caitlin's, every one of these little shoes is $25 she's raised. And then there are these little hands on here that say, I love you, and those are $50 for every one of those that are on her charm. So we have a pin for Mason, so that he will remember that we are embracing the world of sound and hiking for hike. And then Cora has our anniversary hike fair. We recently celebrated our 25th year, and although boys don't like fairs as well as girls do, we have a fair for Mason. But more than that, we want to say thank you to your lodge. We know that we kind of infiltrated your area, and that unfortunately we don't have Joe's Daughters right here now. We'd always be willing to talk to you if you want to talk about working to get one back. We'd work on that with you. But more than that, thank you to the Pruitt family. Obviously, they're a busy family. They have a ball game to get to. But we thank you for finding time to come here and allow us to do that. And now if you would kind of squeeze in ladies so that those people with the cameras can take some pictures. So can you get everybody?
Very center.
There we go.
Center.
There we go. That's right. There you go. I got it? And before you get done, could we get Jason to come back up here and get a picture with the Master of the Lodge? Now in our lodge, our Master's name is Jason too, and he would say that that would be adding the thorn to the roses, but we won't say that.